Okay, everyone, Wednesday morning and we're back talking about Celtic. And see that thing? It's a smile, a creepy smile, a lot of you are probably saying at the moment. Well, it has returned to my face. I'm kind of done with discussing Sunday's game. We spent, the video with Stevie on Monday morning going through the kind of blow-by-blow account of the match and immediate raw feelings on the game. And then yesterday I used all your comments to aid the grieving process. That's a bit strong wording, Hamish. Positive thoughts today. So we're going to be very positive. We're going to move forward. We're going to look at other things. We do have a bit of tidying up to do from the weekend and a few things that aren't really a laughing matter, to be honest, off the park. That I do just want to explain, because if you're like me, you maybe hear these things going on, but you're more interested in actually what happens on the pitch. So I want to just explain some of the things that have been going on, because we got a statement from Celtic on Monday evening. I'm then going to talk international duty. Yay, brilliant. And here is a cheery thought. Ponder where Celtic could now win the league. See, that's good. Yeah, I'm full of excitement today for some bizarre reason. Not quite sure why that is. We're coming to the end of our summer here in Melbourne. I guess for those of you living in Scotland or near that part of the world, you'll just be entering the spring. So maybe you've got a spring in your step as well. Okay, let's do this then. We had a statement from Celtic on, I think it was Monday evening. I didn't cover it yesterday because I was too busy going through all of your comments. But the statement did cover a couple of things. I'll just read it out because it was typically from Celtic a pretty short release. So it says, Celtic Football Club has received complaints regarding the policing operation concerning yesterday's match, specifically events away from Celtic Park. We are reviewing our supporters' concerns and will be looking into these issues. It is important that these matters are addressed, and the club will be engaging in discussions with supporters and Police Scotland to understand the circumstances and events. With regards to the match at Celtic Park, we can also confirm that the club has raised concerns regarding members of the away team engaging with Celtic supporters with the relevant authorities. Okay, the latter bit there, the final paragraph, is to do with some of the celebrations from the Rangers team when their winning goal went in. Vaclav Cherny in particular sprayed water from a water bottle at the Celtic support. While I can't claim to be particularly offended by this, maybe it'd be different if you were in the main stand and got soaked. I can't imagine that'd be particularly pleasant. I mean, it's clearly a real lack of class from Cherny. Unsurprising given the team he plays for. I think Dujon, Sterling, Brandon, Celtic Park, which by the way is the biggest football stadium in Scotland, a shithole or a shitehole on Instagram. I think that falls into the same category. So a lack of class there. Police Scotland are looking into the Cherny incident. Both Cherny and Sterling could be cited by the SFA as well, a ban potentially in the way for Cherny in particular. Now, the other part that I really want to focus on from the majority of Celtic statement, concerns around 90 Celtic fans, members of the Ultras group, the Green Brigade, being stopped and detained for, I think, around 5 hours, certainly for the duration of Sunday's match. And being detained on an area of London Road. I don't actually really ever go that way to the games or from the games in terms of where the CSA is, but I think it's probably a 5-10 minute walk from the ground. I could be wrong there. I think it's about that. So I just want to try and explain to you a little bit about what happened here, because there's a fair chance you'll have heard about it. You'll have seen the empty seats during the game where the Green Brigade normally are. It certainly leapt out to me watching it on my big projector through there. But as I said earlier, if you're like me and you tend to focus more on the football of it, you maybe just don't really care about this stuff. But I'm going to try and explain it a little bit what's going on. So first of all, a statement from Police Scotland after the game said that a group of 90 people had been denied entry to Celtic Park after refusing to be searched by officers under Section 60 powers. They say it was the opinion of officers that the group posed a threat to the safety of people within the stadium and to the public due to possible possession of weapons and pyrotechnics. Whilst the group was contained, pyrotechnics were disposed of and set off, causing a fire, endangering both the public and officers. No one was injured. They also say one arrest was made at the match for alleged police assault on approach to the stadium. So these additional Section 60 powers that they're speaking about had been announced by Police Scotland in the lead up to the game. And yeah, basically the powers allow officers to stop and search people where this is appropriate and necessary, whether they are in a vehicle or on foot. Officers can require the removal of any item they believe is being used wholly or partly for the purposes of concealing a person's identity. And these powers were in place in various areas throughout Glasgow from 8 a.m. until 11:50 p.m. on Sunday. Yeah, things played out on Sunday. As I say, 90 members of the Green Brigade were detained for around 5 hours. Later on, the Green Brigade put out a statement via the North Curve X page. They called it a premeditated attack on football supporters by Police Scotland. They said they believed the police's actions were unlawful and they were currently taking legal advice. So yeah, just to briefly, as I say, it's a pretty lengthy statement this, but basically the Green Brigade at 10:45 they departed for the stadium. At this point they say around 200 people were kettled on the roads. Already 200's a lot more than 90. They were told they were being held until all Rangers fans had entered the stadium. However, that wasn't the case. After around an hour, the police informed them that they had been detained under Section 60 that we spoke about. The reason given was that people were concealing their identity despite the fact that most people were not wearing masks. When this was pointed out, the concern moved to hats, hoods and sunglasses. They say, we offered to remove these items, but this wasn't accepted. In order to leave the kettle, the following was expected of all individuals, including young children. There's a list of things here, so it was including, submit to police detention, being held by 2 officers by the arms, submit to a full body search, including the refusal to privacy for females, full personal details, show ID, have hats, sunglasses, scarves and snoods confiscated, and have everything filmed, including ID documents and clothing. The Green Brigade statement goes on to talk about a few things, mainly calling for a formal review of fan engagement in Scottish football, which I think is something a lot of people would agree with. They also want it noted that the Celtic SLO, John Paul Taylor, who is a great guy and does some great work, spent considerable time at the incident attempting to liaise and help supporters, and he's given a report to Michael Nicholson. So I think pretty clearly it's obvious to say that relations between the Celtic support, and in particular ultras groups, and in particular the Green Brigade and Police Scotland, are at their lowest point. Now it should be saying I'm not just a complete defender of the Green Brigade there. I don't always agree with things that they do, displays and stuff like that. I do, however, think they have an important place and a role at Celtic Park and bring a lot to the match day experience. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, and I guess a lot of this is kind of people on either side have their entrenched beliefs and whatever, and that's fair enough. But it does seem to me, reading certainly from the Green Brigade statement, that Police Scotland's behaviour prior to the game on Sunday was particularly excessive. And I think as a football fan, that's worrying. Would certain members of the public away from football be treated in the same way? And I have my doubts about that. And I think a lot of people just waiting to hear from Celtic on this, and I guess maybe the concerns of many, and there's absolutely no evidence from Sunday to support or to prove this, but the worries of many might be that Celtic would have been aware of some of this stuff on Sunday prior to the game. So it'll be interesting to hear if we hear anything from Celtic, but clearly a bit of an issue before the game on Sunday. Okay, I just want to move on and talk about the actual football stuff. We're into another international break now. It's the final one of the season, and I'll just run through the players that we have away on international duty this time, in no real particular order. I'll kind of start with Scotland and then move further afield from there. Because we've only got one representative in the Scotland squad, and it's Anthony Ralston. Surely that's the lowest number we've had in there for a while. We do have Kieran Tierney as part of the Scotland squad. Obviously, he's a future and a past Celtic player. Scotland have a Nations League playoff two-legger against Greece, and Anthony Ralston's probably likely to play a fair amount of minutes there, because I was looking at the squad and I think Aaron Hickey and Nathan Patterson aren't involved there at all, and Ralston has tended to play over the past few matches. No Georgios Giacomakis for Greece, by the way, just in case you were wondering. Kasper Schmeichel is in for Denmark. They've got a UEFA Nations League quarter-final tie against Portugal, and he's likely to play all 180 plus minutes in that tie. Voljami Senizalo will be on the bench most likely for Finland. They start their World Cup qualifying journey with trips to Malta and Lithuania. Adam Ida and Ireland have a Nations League promotion relegation thing going on as well. Two-legged tie against Bulgaria. Mikey Johnson and Rocco Vata also in the Ireland squad. That's it for Europe. In the Americas, we have Alistair Johnson and Canada in the CONCACAF Nations League semi-final against Mexico. If Canada get through that, they'll obviously be in the final, where they could well face Cameron Carter-Vickers, USA. They play Panama. I think all of these matches going on at SoFi Stadium in California, so a bit of a kind of mini tournament going on there. So we could well have AJ against CCV there, but they've got a couple of semis to win first. Austin Trusty won't be taking part in that. He's pulled out of the US squad due to injury. Probably a wise decision, given that he missed the derby and will want to get himself back up to speed for Celtic returning. So that's fine. In Asia, we've got Daizen Maeda and Reo Hatate with Japan. They host Bahrain and Saudi Arabia in World Cup qualifying. A wee note, I might have mentioned this before, but I'll actually be at Japan's next match, so the first match of the next international break in June. They're playing Australia, obviously, away over in Perth, so still I think a 4-hour flight for me, but well worth it to potentially see Daizen and Rail and maybe Kyogo as well. So yeah, that's in the future. For now, Daizen a doubt for Japan. Actually, the Japanese FA say Daizen Maeda did not train with the main group after suffering from a bruised leg, and undertook his own individual programme. I do recall him getting a bit of a sore one late in the game and limping a little bit. I think he went down for a period. So that's probably what that is linked to there. And finally, Hyunjun Yang is back in for South Korea after some good recent club form. They play Oman and Jordan in World Cup qualifying. So I make that 9 full internationals away. There's a few youngsters away as well. Francis Turley is certainly one. Jude Bonner, Colby Donovan, other names that I saw. You may be kind of thinking of a few Celtic players though, and there are a few notable exceptions, players who've been away in international duty in recent times. I mean, Greg Taylor isn't in the Scotland squad at all. Maybe not surprising given he's not really played for us in recent weeks. Luke McCowan wasn't called up for Scotland. Liam Scales is not away with the Republic of Ireland. Again, he's dropped out of the Celtic team a bit. Oh, sorry, he's injured as well. What are you talking about, Hamish? He's injured, yeah. I'm guessing he probably would have been in the Ireland squad had he not been injured, so that's the reason he's not there. Arnie Engels isn't injured but has not been called up for Belgium, which is interesting. Hopefully he can use that to spur himself on. Jeff Schlupp, here's a question for you. What country did Jeff Schlupp play for? Does anyone know this? Ghana is the answer. He's not played for them since 2021, so we don't need to worry about him going away in international duty. Paulo Bernardo, another one who's injured. He would have been going away, I think, with Portugal's 21. So a fair few players missing out, and they'll all just be getting ready for Celtic's big return, which is just over a week away. Again, positive mental attitude. We're already at Wednesday. A week from now, we'll be fully gearing up for Hearts. We just need to get through that next week. Sunday's defeat has the margin at the top of the Scottish Premiership back down to just the 13 points, everyone. We now require 4 more wins, assuming that Rangers keep winning their game. So if they keep winning, we keep winning, we would have to go into the first game after the split to seal the title. Could potentially be done at Celtic Park now potentially against Kilmarnock if we were to win our games and Rangers were to drop points a wee bit. And maybe if the first game after the split is at Celtic Park, we could do it there as well. I think we're due 3 away games out of the 5 after the split. Certainly Ibrox will be one. You'd think Pittodrie would be one if they make the top 6. I think we're due Hibs at Celtic Park, which is all well and good. So yeah, there's still a lot to be gained here for Celtic. We're still looking at having potentially 10 games left of this season. And as I said yesterday, go and win the league in style. Go and win at Ibrox, lay down a marker for next season, show you can compete in these derbies, and then go and win twice at Hampden to secure the treble. And we're all going to be feeling pretty good about the summer, and Sunday's game is going to be just a distant memory. I do have some doubts, I'll be honest, about this Celtic team really coming back after the break with the bit between their teeth. I worry that some of them feel that they've done their job this season, and it's just a case of we'll just get over the line and win the league and we'll be absolutely fine in the 2 cup games. Yeah, we need to wake up a little bit, I think, and players need to come back from the international break, whether they're away with their countries or not, feeling revitalised and ready to go. It was a tough old period, that the ultra marathon that we had all the way from, mid-November until now. So many games over a short period of time. Maybe we just kind of ran out of legs a little bit at the end of it. Maybe to an extent that's understandable, as much as a derby defeat should never be understandable. But let's go and finish the season in style. Come back ready to go. Finish this campaign in style, and then we can all enjoy our summer. There's my big talk, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow.